Good morning, Desert Sands Unified School District community. This is Sean Webb, and you're watching episode 24 of Classroom Conversations, where we engage the Desert Sands Unified School District community and all our partners and so forth. Pretty exciting. We got a fun-filled day. First, I want to go ahead and thank the Desert Sands Educational Foundation, also that's the foundation I'm the director of, for supplying this platform for us to go ahead and present. I'd like to read off the mission statement for the Desert Sands Educational Foundation. The Desert Sands Educational Foundation secures funding and rewards monies to provide supplemental resources that enrich and enhance student learning in Desert Sands Unified School District. We do this in partnership with the public and private sectors. Desert Sands Educational Foundation financially supports creative and innovative programs that enrich and enhance the educational experience in academics, the arts, and extracurricular activities that engage all students in DSUSD. And we do that by partnering with people. And today we have one of our partners on with us today. We partner with the city of La Quinta. We partner with Cal Fire, La Quinta Fire Department. We're going to have Cole Hetrick, who's going to join us. But before we go on to that, I'm going to go ahead and have our lovely co-host join us, Miss Chef Mary. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm just wonderful. It's definitely cold up here this morning. Was like in the low 50s, which I'm sure you're appreciating that it's like not in the 3 digits in the desert. But yesterday we decided to winterize all the bedding and put all the flannels back on.
Okay.
And a shout out to Kathy Pedersen because she donated all my bare flannel sheets, which I love.
Oh, very nice.
So it's that time of the year when you start with the fireplace on and we had the furnace inspected, and it's kind of cool actually. And the acorns are falling off right now, and I feel like we're getting hit by rocks.
Oh, gee. Well, I'm glad it's just the acorns, it's not actual rocks to do some damage. But,
exactly. Life in Big Bear.
Yeah. So we definitely got a fun morning planned ahead. Let me go ahead and bring up our schedule here. I want to go ahead and talk about our first thing we have here, CamFest. We've been sharing about it all week, and I'll tell you, Mary, we're going to be sharing about this the rest of the month, all of November, right up till December. But I want to mention to everybody that so I took the time yesterday. I'm kind of playing around with this. I dolled up our CamFest 2020 website. So this is the foundation portion of it, okay? And when I say the foundation portion of it, where we just have information about CamFest and so forth, but there isn't actually a CamFest official website right here that you can access through ours. Now, I'm not going to click on it yet because from what I understand, it's going to be live tomorrow. But from the Desert Sands Educational Foundation website, you can find all this information about CamFest, find out about our sponsorship opportunities that we're offering. You know, one of the things that's cool, Mary, is like we put this event on last year for the thousands of people. I want to say there's close to, Christy talks about 10,000 people being there. Close to that many people being there at the actual Indian Wells Tennis Gardens. This year we're taking it virtual, so we're now announcing it to the world. We have the opportunity for everybody to see it. Imagine like your sister Carol watching it from Rochester. She'll be able to have that opportunity. So with our sponsorships and so forth, we have that as part of it. We're gonna. I'll be honest. We're gonna start seeing some more banners and so forth on our clicker here because we'll be offering sponsorships to our patrons.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So pretty cool. A lot of great things going on with CamFest and it being virtual. And I'll tell you, we have an amazing team, and you'll get to meet them. As being a board member, you're privy to those meetings and so forth. But you'll get to meet all of our volunteers that are coming and helping out with this, and it's pretty amazing because some of the volunteers we have, Mary, they're not even from the Coachella Valley, but they realize the importance of arts and music.
Yep.
And they dedicate their time.
You know how I am about volunteers and volunteering.
Yep, exactly. The volunteers, they're the most valuable people.
Totally.
People.
Don't fire them.
Yeah, so that's great. Well, like I said, we'll talk about CamFest more and more as it comes closer. But I want to go ahead and continue on here. We've talked about Recognize It before, and our good friend Tony Marchese at Trio.
I know.
And then Mrs. Tadros' son Mark, who's at These Farms, and the foundation and the district is partnered with CV Harvest Fest. So we just had our first month. What CV Harvest Fest is doing is for Recognize It from September to June, those 10 months, every month we can nominate staff members for having incredible talent, right? And from, I'll tell you, this first month of September, we got employees from July August and September. There's over 280 nominees. And we went ahead and I distributed CD Harvest boxes for them, and I picked them up. So I created this video and I want to share it with you. It's pretty special.
We're sponsoring the IT program, with boxes of fresh produce to be given to those that are recognized through that program. I challenge other businesses in the Coachella Valley to reach out to Desert Sands Unified Educational Foundation. What can you do for them?
So that was, I'll tell you what, one of the best parts of my job is to go ahead and to visit with our partners. And the best part, the best part of my job is when I get to give free stuff to our staff members.
Exactly. That's awesome.
Yeah. The really cool thing is, so Kirsten, you may have seen us in one of our evening webinars, but she's one of the teachers on special assignment. She works at one of our elementary schools. And I got to deliver that to her. I actually interrupted her during her class day when I took that picture. So just like I'm in front of the camera here, I came in through her door and did that. And then Carlos, who won, he's a cloud technician. He's just actually on the other side of this wall here. And he works back here in technology. So it's pretty awesome to not only recognize these great staff members, but to see that the community, parents, students can go ahead and recognize their staff members, and to see 280 of our staff members were recognized from that.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
And each of them will get a certificate. We send that to them via district mail to get a certificate, and it looks very similar to this. I got one last year. It looks very similar to this. It's kind of funny. I got one here, and then I actually sign it as well. So I get to sign my own certificates because I oversee the program. But it is kind of cool. But I want to go ahead and continue on here. As we shared, it's Fire Prevention Month. And with us today, we have somebody from the local fire department. And I'm going to go ahead and bring on, let's see, let me change up the screens here real quick. Get Mary up here. And we're going to bring on Cole. How you doing, Cole?
Good morning. Doing very well. Thanks for having me.
And thank you for joining us. If you could do us a favor, introduce yourself and why exactly are you joining us on Classroom Conversations?
I appreciate it very much. My name is Cole Hetrick. I'm a fire safety specialist with the Riverside County Office of the Fire Marshal. I'm exclusively assigned to the city of La Quinta as their fire marshal, which therefore I get to spend a lot of time interacting with Desert Sands Unified School District. I haven't mentioned this yet, but I actually am an alumni of the Horizon School Independent Study Program, class of 2005, which availed a wonderful opportunity to pursue the career that I am now well established in. So thank you,
Awesome.
Sands and Horizon.
That is fantastic. That's even, I love it when we have our community partners join us, and I even love it even more when they're alumni of Desert Sands. That's absolutely fantastic.
Exactly.
Thank you. Thank you for, giving back to your community and staying here and working with our families.
My pleasure. So the point of my being involved today is because of Fire Prevention Week. Now, NFPA, National Fire Protection Association, establishes a Fire Prevention Week every year. Last week was October 4th through the 10th. And I appreciate that Desert Sands is taking a better informal but voluntary option to extend it to a whole month program, because it's that important. And thinking as far as how families are being affected by coronavirus, a lot of people are spending more time at home, spending a lot more time cooking in the kitchen. And so what a perfect theme for this year, which is serve up fire safety in the kitchen. So that's what we're encouraging all families and all community residents to be focused on for this month, is how they can serve up safety in the kitchen. So here we have in both English and Spanish is La Quinta's flyer for Fire Prevention Week or month, and it talks about these 5 points. So number 1 was focus on the food. This is the leading cause of fires in the kitchen. People get distracted. They leave the kitchen. They leave things cooking on the stovetop, a phone call, something on the TV, something involved with their children that they need to focus on. So we want to make sure that all cooking is maintained attended. Stay in the kitchen if you can, or turn the heat off. Number 2 is keep your cooking area clutter-free. This is very important. I know that sometimes we don't have enough real estate for all the levels of cooking that we're doing. So be mindful of what you're putting where, especially in relation to those fuel-fired kitchen appliances or stovetops. And then number 3, be smart when cooking. So that's using a timer to remind us that we are cooking. You know, we have these little devices, these smart devices in our hands, and they can be so distracting at times. You get a text message, get an email, get a phone call, and suddenly we forgot that we were cooking. We had to step away for a reason. And we really don't want our smoking, charbroiled dinner to be our reminder that we were cooking. So that's a good one, right?
On that, I've woken up to a pizza in the oven before like that.
Yeah, it could be a surprise. And, smoke detectors go off, kids start getting concerned, the dogs are having a panic attack. So, timers is certainly a proactive approach for that. Number 4 is put a lid on it. And I love this slogan, but the simplest thing is having that lid. As you see Sparky there in the image, he's got a lid nearby. And the benefit of that lid, oftentimes kitchen fires start as a grease fire in a small pan, frying, grilling bacon, something like that. That splatters going around. Well, whether you're placing that lid on the pan that's now on fire to smother the fire, or anywhere on that hard surface, it suffocates the fire, and it's non-flammable, and it protects you. It's a little bit of a shield as you put it down. So we don't want to use dry towels or anything like that, or try to beat it with a towel or anything like that, because you could spread the fire around. So have that lid nearby, ready to use it.
Okay. So I'll if you don't mind, I'm going to try and speak to each one of these points. And Mary, you can do it also. So number 1, focus on the food. Unattended cooking is leading the cause of fires in kitchens. So Cole, I'll share with you. I'm a new father. My daughter's she'll be 14 months old. Brooklyn. Mary and I talk about her all the time. And one of the things that we got for her first birthday was that one of our friends gave us a learning tower. So now, not only am I focusing on the food, but I have my daughter there focusing on the food too. So she's standing there right with us. So that has definitely helped it out. So but I do make sure, like you talked about the 3 feet distance, I do make sure that she's away from the stove and so forth, but she's right there learning with us. And Mary, you talked about Maddie having something very similar like that before too, right?
Yeah, Maddie, my granddaughter is 11, and we've taught her how to cook from day one. And she's well aware of the stove and what to be careful of and how to cook things. And, and it's kind of interesting because I'm a chef and I work in a lot of different kitchens with a lot of different stoves, and they all operate independently of each other. So it's a challenge, to work with that. In a lot of homes I do go into, the kitchen cooking space is sort of like a shopping place. There's doodads and hoo-haws everywhere, and you're always moving everything around.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I think too, Cole, that you brought up is we're really careful to keep our surfaces clean. I clean the stove. I make sure the oven is clean. I don't have a lot of stuff around when I'm cooking, and I move things away as I'm done with them. And I think people tend to want to start piling things up and thinking they'll do the dishes later on. So these are really super good points, particularly from a professional point of view, but also from a home point of view.
And I'll say, with point number 3, I'm notorious. I use my cell phone all the time where it says use a timer. I'll just say, hey Siri, set a timer for 5 minutes. It's doing it right now. And I do that all the time when I'm cooking. It might be even to the point where I'm making a bottle for my daughter. Hey Siri, set it for 3 minutes and 30 seconds. I know that's how long it takes for the bottle. Now I got to get Siri to stop talking to me. But, technology is beautiful where it's given us all these opportunities to make things easier for us to do.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so I appreciate you guys taking the approach and looking at those things, your personal situations, and how you can benefit from these safety reminders. And as point number 5 there, keep kids safe from burns and scalds. And that's maintaining that 3 feet. Some of the social media posts that we were sharing was showing a mother stretching out a tape measure to 3 feet to really show her child what that looks like. what 3 feet means and the benefit of that. And so the point of that is to maintain that safety. Now, obviously, if we're supervising our children, then obviously, if you're comfortable letting them in and you're teaching them, absolutely. But the point is we don't want them to rush in, to be comfortable getting within that 3 feet. They should be invited into that 3 feet range, right? Some other points to point out as well is consider rotating the handles of your pots and pans away from the edge of the cooktop, because they can reach up and grab it and pull it down, right? Cause serious injuries there. So that's some things.
I've already learned that with my daughter, where luckily we caught it, but she grabbed the pot and she had the handle right there and she's ready to bring it down. And luckily we caught it and so forth. One thing before we let you go here, Cole, I want to point out that you guys have been great, and you've shared some resources with us as well. This here is the Fire Week prevention plan. Like I would say, it says for teachers, but students could do this with their families as well. Parents that are watching can implement these types of programs and so forth.
Absolutely, and it's a great 1 week plan, but you can certainly spread it out. There's the story of Sparky, and this is for the elementary kids, because that's certainly our main focus as far as educating. But there's a lot of good information there. There's videos, there's activities, there's games.
Okay.
There's little study reports you can work on as well. So yeah, we're really encourage teachers, parents, students to consider taking a look at that. So
with your permission, so I started my job in July of 2019 as a director of community engagement. And with that, things are changing, and it's a brand new spot. I'm now going to have a portion of the website where it's for community engagement. And with your permission, I would love to have this on our website as a, under a subheader, for Fire Prevention Week.
Absolutely.
With our families. Okay, so I will definitely do that. Thank you for that. And so our families could definitely, access this PDF, because Mary, I'm not sure if you could tell, but all of those little red spots in the text there, they're all live links. And it's there are videos, there's printouts, there's activities that people can participate in. It seems like there's even an app where they can get to the games and so forth. So a lot of different type of learning activities about fire prevention for our families to see. So I'll definitely share that out. Thank you very much, Cole. That's outstanding. Yeah.
Well, Cole, even as an adult, I think we often forget those points of view that you just brought up, turning the handles in, because like I live alone, so I don't have that to worry with until the kids come up. And also, I think the technology of how they're changing, how we manage the knobs on our stoves, and how things are turned on and turned off. That's also a safety factor, because we've seen that before. Where you're reaching across an open fire to manipulate some sort of knob. And I'm glad that the industry has looked at that, and that's probably come from your departments. To make people, make industry aware that, these are hazards when these knobs are not placed in the right places for you to get to them.
Yep. We many elements of fire safety come from reaction. And so I have the benefit and luxury of being in what would be considered fire prevention. So we take a very proactive approach, looking at things, trying to focus on the education elements and get everybody to think about that fire safety wherever they're at.
So, Cole,
I can.
Go ahead,
one thing I am just ridiculously guilty of is I'll be cooking and then I'll turn the burner down low, and then I've done cooking, but you really don't see that little tiny little flame there. And I've come back and just gone, holy moly! I didn't turn this thing off, and it's like you almost want it to have a reminder that, okay, you've been on low for too long. You better get that burner turned off.
So I did some cooking over the weekend, Mary, and I used it was fully digital, and I was able to connect all with my phone for the sous vide that I did.
Really?
It did all that for me. I didn't have to worry about turning off a burner. I didn't have to worry about turning it on. It did all electronically. It's the first time I actually accessed the Bluetooth portion of this device that I've had in my kitchen for 3 years. But it's the first time I actually used it via the phone. It's pretty cool. But literally, I was able to pick it out by a picture and say, this is what I want my food to look like. And then the whole thing did it on its own. Talk about prevention, right, Cole?
You know what that sounds like? That sounds like the Star Trek replicator ready to...
Very funny, very funny. Well, Mary, I'm going to allow you to get one more question with Cole before we let him go. Is there any other Fire Prevention Week or Fire Prevention Month questions that you have for him?
Well, I think he mentioned something earlier when we were off air, which I thought was incredibly interesting, even though it doesn't come into play into our kitchen, but it does come into play in our home. And you have a rule of space between your home and yards and structures, as well as a really cool thing about how to trim your trees. And I wondered if you would recap that for me again. I didn't know. I found it interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously we live in California and we have some very dry years. We're having the worst wildfire season in recorded history. Now, most of Desert Sands Unified School District is located in what is not recognized as a high fire area. So we do have that benefit. But Mary and I both live in high fire areas. And so we have to be mindful of what's considered defensible space improvements. And so in those high fire areas, we look to have a total of 100 feet of defensible space clearance of hazardous vegetation, trees, and brushes. And it's broken down into 2 zones. Zone 1 is your 0 to 30 feet. And that's basically, oftentimes we use the terminology moonscape. So we want to remove any hazardous vegetation immediately up to the house and within 30 feet, or significantly manicure it. One of those manicuring methods is called lollipopping. So that's where you take a sizable bush or vegetation and you trim all the lower vegetation limbs and twigs and branches so that you have a vertical clear trunk or branch system before you get to the top ornamental lollipop.
And I'll make reference to food, Mary. That's just like when we take a drumstick and we do the same thing for chicken to make it fancy,
exactly.
right?
Yeah. We just did that up here with all of our pine trees.
Okay.
We actually took them up probably, we have about a 10 or 12 foot space from the ground to where the next level of leaves are, or the pine cones are.
Yeah, and that's perfect. So that's what we call removing the ladder. So that's where you're taking all the vegetation under a tree and removing it away. And to save the tree, you're removing limbs to a certain elevation, typically the half of the total height of the tree, or not more than 15 feet is probably a good idea. And what that does is, fires burn low and then they will climb up a tree. So we're removing that ladder.
So Cole, that's similar to like a palm tree out here that has growth. And we always see landscapers go up and trim the palm tree at the top so it doesn't have all that growth. Is that kind of for the same thing as well?
Same thing as well. So our beautiful pine trees, our evergreens, they're highly flammable, but we want to keep them and we want to keep them healthy. So though we don't want to say you have to remove that tree because it's hazardous, unless it's dying or already dead, then we do what we consider manicuring. And so we remove those lower limbs, remove any dead branches. And by doing that, it does a couple of things. For one, I personally like seeing a manicured yard, wherever you're at, whatever climate zone you're in, having a manicured yard, it's beautiful. So you can still have that sense of being in nature. It improves your visual distance that you can see because you don't have those limbs blocking. You might find that you have much better view by doing that as well.
Well, Mary always tells me I look better when I got a clean shave too, so that kind of makes sense.
I know. The other thing I find really informative, and I think a lot of people kind of open their mail and they throw these little flyers out that come from the gas company or the electric company, and the California Fair Plan just had a big flyer out to all of us up here, which I read, which was really informative. And so I would highly recommend that if you get something from your gas company, is read those little flyers. There's a lot of information and things you don't think about, things you kind of forget or you overlook, or all of a sudden you look around and you go, oh golly, that's what's happening in my yard. So they put these things out for a reason, and we've got this one pinned up on our refrigerator. And it's really good that they take the time to put that in print so you can hang on to it.
Hey, Cole, you have a watcher that you have some fans here. Want to let you know, you can look at your screen. Mr. Delgado is watching from La Quinta.
Oh my gosh.
Assistant Principal Delgado, how you doing, sir?
And just so you know, you may have not heard, but he retired at the beginning of the school year. Yeah, but look at that, Mary. He's one of our viewers today.
I know. Is he calling from local or is he out of state on this call? Do you know?
Yeah, I know. I don't know. Maybe he'll comment here again. Just so you know, Cole, he just retired at the beginning of the before the school year started, and he announced to me that he's purchasing a home in Texas. I'm not sure if he's moved there yet, but he's looking forward to being in retirement and living the next chapter of his life.
Well, congratulations to him. I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
I think I have about 29 years to go. So I got some catching up to do.
That's too funny. Well, Cole, thank you very much for taking the time to be with us today. I'd hope it, sometimes we can have you come back and maybe connect you with our public service academy. And then we could have maybe develop some internships, maybe along the lines of your work and so forth. But it's great for what you're doing back in the community. I love that you're Desert Sands alumni and you're giving back here. Thank you so much. Oh, Mr. Delgado commented. He's still local, Mary.
Oh, okay. Oh, good.
Still local. But, Cole, thank you so much. You have a great day.
Well, thank you, Cole, for everything you guys do. We really appreciate it.
Pleasure.
All right, Mary. Geez, you get just to meet everybody, don't you?
I know. It's really, I think it's just interesting, have them, go back and say what we have to do because I think we forget.
Right.
Like putting the handles, I do that automatically.
Yeah.
But I think, sometimes you go, oh, I need to turn that handle back.
Right.
Because some of it, being in the kitchen most of my life, you become used to doing that. You don't think about it. And everybody else around you is also aware of those same policies.
Right.
But we have a bunch of kids or people, in the kitchen. To me, the kitchen is like the playground. It's a family room.
Yep.
That.
For us, it is, right? Like I said, I get that learning tower. And whenever I'm cooking, Brooklyn's right there watching along and so forth. And just so you know, Mr. Delgado is being full disclosure today. He's leaving in December.
Oh my God.
So you'll have to try and catch up with him beforehand.
I know. Such a great guy. Such a great guy.
Yeah, definitely. But let's go ahead and continue with the social media here. See what's going on. Let's see. Let's check out what's going on with Twitter here. Let's see. Let's see what Jan and Mary's got up here. Oh, this is brand new. This is pretty exciting, Chef Mary. This is an update on our meals. So the last time we were on, we said till the end of the year, 2020, we would have meals. Well, now it's happening at all the schools till the end of the school year. They're free.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It's happening at all the distributions and so forth. You want to make sure to check the website because there might be some changes. So I'm not sure if you saw me on social media the other day, but I did a little on spot from Truman Elementary and La Quinta Middle School. And if you're not familiar with the area, so we've got 2 distribution sites going on right there. They share a parking lot. So we're just going to better plan that a little bit. So make sure to keep up with our website to look at which schools will actually have the distributions going on. But we will be offering them till the end of the school year, and anybody under the age of 18 gets a free meal. So that's pretty special.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty special that the district is doing that and we're participating. So this is a cool thing. The Goldfish Bowl. Have you heard about this?
No, I have not.
Oh, this is a really cool thing. So apply for the Goldfish Bowl. This is Desert Sands creation. This is one of the things that we came up with our funding goals, our LCAP goals. And this is Mr. Bailey's program where students and staff can apply and appear in front of sharks to get funded up to $3,000 for a project.
Oh, cool.
So I'll share that in years past as an assistant principal, the students have to partner with a staff member or a teacher. So they partnered with me at La Quinta High, and one of our students actually developed a pen of some sort where it had, like whiteout built right into it. So and it was a very different type of mechanical pen. And he didn't actually get funded for the money, but what happened is Joe Wallace, who's from CVEP, the CEO, said he would help him do a patent search and to see if they could do those types of things. So it's not all about funding, but it's all about relationships and building those types of things with students.
Oh, that's awesome, yeah.
Yeah, and then so here's a different topic. When I was at Palm Desert High, I went with a group of students. I went with the ASB leaders, and they implemented a program called Office Hours, which started last year. And what they had to do is they put in a grant to purchase scanners. So this is just my phone, but to give you an example, every student that would go to Office Hours, the big deal, let me rewind real quick. You know what I mean by office hours with like colleges. Professors will have those office hours, and you can just go in and whenever you want and ask questions.
Okay.
So Palm Desert High wanted to implement a program like that. But I'll tell you, with California Department of Education, they're very, very particular on something called instructional minutes. So we need to know where these students are. So we wanted to develop that program. We pitched it to the ASB students. They loved it. So we came up with an idea. And what we did for the office hours for the Goldfish Bowl is we bought these scanners that would go ahead and scan every one of the kids' IDs as they came in the room.
Okay.
And it would automatically upload to our student information system. Follow me here, okay?
Okay.
Then it would record the minutes for attendance so that it would help us out there. But that program cost like $5,000.
Oh,
But
wow.
because we went to the Goldfish Bowl, we got most of it funded by the Goldfish Bowl. And then the other portion was funded by the Palm Desert High Foundation. So, you know, it's just an innovative, creative way to go ahead and request money of the district. And it's $3,000 that you could use. I've seen some great things. Elementary schools, Mary, they put in an innovative, it was like a cooler. And in this cooler was for emergencies, for evacuations and so forth.
Okay.
And everything in this cooler was all the emergency things that you needed, as well as like solar generators and powers. And these kids with the teacher, we're talking like third graders, built this prototype out of a cooler, had solar on it. You know, they're being creative. They're being, you know, like Mr. Gadget. It was just outstanding to see the creativity of the students do that. Yeah. So I'm actually thinking about asking Mr. Bailey. I got some ideas, but if I could apply for some $3,000 for an idea, maybe for classroom conversations.
Exactly. I mean, because when you watch Shark and these people that come up with ideas,
Yep.
and I think the last time I watched it, one of the gals is now one of the people that's funding
Yep.
these programs, and she had a program called Stitch Fit or something, where apparently you just, you know, you have clothes and you can order a box of clothes.
Yep.
And I guess this girl is worth billions of dollars.
Yeah.
And now we see it's all over the TV.
I'm hoping I could be with that someday. Maybe Brooklyn.
I mean, how simple of an idea that you would put used clothes in a box.
Yeah.
And you would order the box. And this girl now is one of the financial supporters for Shark. She's like one of the investors.
She's one of the sharks. You got to love that. So moving on here with social media, I'll tell you. So our DSUSD spirit gal, Mrs. Wood, she posted this little 4-second video here to appreciate our Desert Sands principals.
Yes.
This is National Principals Month. I'm hoping next week or the week after we'll have 1 or 2 principals come join us. I will say that I put out the invite to our principals, Mary, and with everything going on, I'll flat out say this is right in the middle of their school day.
Yeah.
It's very difficult for them to leave the school day to come visit with us, and I'll flat out say that. But we're hoping we can maybe get 1 or 2 come on, so you can also meet them too, and we can introduce them to the community and so forth. But no, Mrs. Wood's been great. She's, you know, as I said, I call her the DSU's spirit gal. She's everything of pride for this district, and I love that she's here at the district office with us. So that, and as I said, this is our Spirit Week, and today's Dress for Success. Tomorrow's School Spirit Day and Pride Day. I know I won't see you, but I'm thinking you'll still have that La Quinta Blackhawk chef coat on, won't you?
I will definitely. Yeah, it's actually in my closet, and I have my Black Hawk apron, and I have my Black Hawk show apron. Still.
Okay. Oh, there we go. There we go. And then why don't we see? This is what's going on Facebook. You saw the information about the meals. Like we said, the locations. Some of the locations are going to go ahead and they're going to relocate and do some different things there. So make sure to keep up on the website. And as we get those updates, I'll share that with us too. We talked about the Goldfish Bowl. You know, can't go wrong with getting some funding there. There I am the other day. It's unfortunate that my Bills luck didn't continue. They got kind of beat up the other night. That was unfortunate.
Yeah, I didn't want to call and ask what the result was.
Yeah, it wasn't a pretty game at all, Mary.
I know.
It wasn't pretty at all. So, you know, we got a lot of exciting things coming. I want to share next week. This month is also Digital Citizenship Month. So I'm going to have some of our technology teachers on special assignment who are going to join us next week on Tuesday.
Oh, good.
And they've got some slides and slides and info for our parents on tips on to keep an eye on your kids during this time when we're all in this format, right? Our kids, our students are on Chromebooks daily. They're in front of a screen. So they got tips tips for our families to go ahead and implement and so forth. So they're going to be on with us on Tuesday morning.
Oh,
And
cool.
then Thursday, I still have it in the works. I'm trying to work out an interview in the kitchen over the central kitchen on Monday, so we can then produce that for Thursday. So
Okay.
I'm trying to get with some of our nutritional staff and so forth, because you got to love appreciation weeks and months. This month is just full of them. It's a Principals Appreciation Month. It's Fire Prevention Week. It's I could go on. It's National School Lunch Promotion Week or month. All kinds of different promotions and weeks. But it gives us great things to talk about and highlight in our district.
It does. And I think, going back to our people in the fire department, I know that sometimes the things that they request us to do to keep our houses safe and our kitchens safe always seem a little invasive, or like you wish they would just go away. But I can tell you, I have 3 friends whose homes were burned to the ground that I know personally. And, the trauma of that. And we were actually in a house that we had left the house, and 5 minutes later, the house exploded. And they called to find out where we were, and we were at the coffee shop having coffee. And that's how quickly it happened. And we came back. The fire marshal that was there said, "I don't know what angel is on your shoulders, girls, but you would have not survived it."
Right.
So when
Sounds
they
like a gas fire if it exploded.
something in the dryer, something happened in the lower part of the house. So when these things come around, I take them really seriously. Like that flyer, I read it from front to back, because 5 minutes later, we wouldn't have been here today. And then my friend Lee, we celebrate this it actually happened this time of the year. I think it was my birthday or something. So I encourage you then when Cole is talking about different things in the kitchen, that it's serious, because it takes a matter of seconds to have something out of control. And if you're not trained to know how to put a fire out in the kitchen, I've been in that situation before.
So I'm going to admit to something here, and Tara's going to laugh when I share about this. We had a little bit of a situation in our own kitchen just a couple months ago, where I was cooking, and it was a little grease fire thing. Yeah. And my first gut reaction when I see fire, what did I do? I went for water.
Oh, yeah.
To a grease fire. And Tara luckily was standing right next to me. She's like, "Stop." And I know that also, but I saw fire. I initially went to water, but luckily she was there to stop me, because if I go ahead and put water on that fire, if I put water in that pan, everything, right? Yeah, no, it's good to have these pointers. It's good to have these tips, and it's good that you and I be able to present it to our families and so forth.
Exactly. it's a serious thing. And when you see your firefighters in your neighborhood, checking out to see what's going on, I'm grateful that they're there, because I can't imagine, the stress that they have to be responsible for protecting your home or your family. It must be so much like a doctor that's taking care of your health wise.
Right.
So my kudos go out to Cole and his fellow workers.
Oh, definitely. And especially what they encounter and so forth, and being a fireman.
Exactly.
Just a amazing life that they they live and so forth, and that they lead and so forth. So I'm just grateful for them. And I love that he's a Desert Sands alum. That's just awesome even more.
I know, that's awesome.
Yeah. I was curious if I was in Desert Sands when he graduated, but I actually started 2005-06. He graduated 2005 from Horizon. Yeah. But Mary, I'm going to go ahead and close this out.
Okay, buddy.
I'll catch up with you backstage here in a second.
Okay, sweetie. Hey, have a good day, guys. Thanks, firefighters.
Thank you. We'll see you in a second. So here we are. As I shared, we're going to have classroom conversations on Tuesday, where we're going to have our tech TOSAs. I'm sorry, not our tech TOSAs, but our technology teachers on special assignment are going to come in and talk about digital citizenship. Geez, I got to work on that. I can see Mary laughing in the background. Seashells by the seashore. Yeah, there we go. But no, we'll have that on Tuesday. We're going to have hopefully some principals join us later in the month as well. You guys have a great day. Enjoy the week. Be safe. Wear a mask. Wash your hands. And this is Sean Webb, your Director of Community Engagement. Have a good one.